All right, let's jump into this deep dive. We're looking at those recent articles you sent over about Brittany Cartwright.
That's right. She's shared some quite personal news about her son, Cruz.
Yeah, specifically about his autism diagnosis. He's 3, nearly 4 now.
Exactly. So we've pulled the key info from people in E online, mainly.
Okay, and the goal here, to really unpack it, right? Understand the story behind the headlines.
Precisely. We want to get the timeline clear, what signs they noticed, the support systems they've put in place.
And Brittany's own perspective on everything, how she's viewing this whole journey.
That's the core of it, getting the most insightful bits for you.
Okay, let's start with the reveal itself. The public announcement was, what, around April 9th this year?
Yeah, just recently, April 9th, 2025. That's when she shared it publicly for the first time.
But the articles say the actual diagnosis happened quite a bit before that.
Uh-huh. About 6 months earlier, it seems. So likely back in the fall of 2024.
Right, so they've been processing this privately for a while.
Exactly. This isn't brand new news for the family, just for the public.
And looking back, the articles mention some early developmental signs. He was hitting milestones initially.
Yes, absolutely. Like
And
the physical stuff, crawling, walking, that was all pretty typical, according to the reports.
we even had some words.
Yeah, he did. You know, the classic first words, mommy, daddy, and apparently hot dog, too.
Ha! Hot dog! That's a good one. So things seemed on track at first.
They did. But then, and this seems really significant, there was a change, a regression, specifically with his speech.
Ah, okay. Around what age did that happen?
The articles pinpointed to around age 2. That's when Brittany noticed he started, well, losing the words he already had.
So he basically stopped talking.
Pretty much, yeah. Or at least stopped using those words he'd learned. And that loss of language is, often a really key indicator.
A big red flag, basically.
It often prompts parents and doctors to look closer, yes.
So fast forward to now, how is his communication described?
Mostly nonverbal.
That's the term used, yeah. Mostly nonverbal. Does he say anything at all?
Brittany mentioned he does say some words, but sporadically. She specifically noted hearing mommy sometimes.
Oh, wow. That must mean so much.
I imagine so. But she really stresses the connection they have, despite the lack of consistent verbal communication.
Right. It's not just about words. She feels she understands him.
Exactly. That the love and understanding are there, very strong.
And it sounds like they acted fast once they noticed the changes. Early intervention was key.
Absolutely. They got him into speech therapy and occupational therapy pretty quickly.
Why is that speed so crucial?
Well, generally, the earlier you start interventions like these, the more effective they can be. Younger brains tend to be more adaptable, more neuroplastic.
So it helps build those skills more effectively early on.
That's the idea. Plus, it's interesting, this whole process, getting him help, was actually part of their reality show, The Valley.
Oh, really? So viewers saw some of this journey.
Apparently so. It gives a bit of a public window into seeking that support.
And beyond the standard therapies, what else are they doing? The articles mentioned quite a bit of support at home.
Yeah, they've really created an environment for him. There's a sensory room at home.
Okay, explain that a bit. What's a sensory room for?
It's basically a space designed to help manage sensory input. It can have specific lighting, textures, maybe calming things. It helps kids who might process sensory information differently, helps them regulate.
Makes sense. What else?
She mentioned a swing set and a pool that they use as part of his therapy too, making it fun and engaging.
And something about a companion.
Yes, a therapeutic companion who goes to preschool with him every day. Just provides that extra support, especially with social stuff.
It really sounds like they're all in. Brittany seems incredibly dedicated.
Very much so. She apparently makes sure he never misses any therapy or support. It's clearly the top priority.
Which brings us to her perspective. The articles captured some really moving quotes from her.
They really did. That one where she says she feels she was meant to be his mom.
Yeah, and acknowledging that life might look a little bit different. There's an acceptance there.
But also so much positivity. She said she couldn't imagine my life being different.
And that quote about how he sees the world.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful. That he experiences it as so much more vibrant and amazing than, perhaps we do.
It challenges the idea that different means less.
Absolutely. And she pushed back hard against limitations.
How so?
She explicitly said, look, this diagnosis doesn't mean he won't be the smartest kid in class. It doesn't mean he can't work for NASA someday.
Wow. Setting no limits.
None at all. Just complete faith in his potential, refusing to let the diagnosis define him.
She also touched on wanting him to experience life fully.
Yes, and then sort of corrected herself, saying he is experiencing it fully, just in his own way, which is a really profound point.
It really is such strength there. Now, the articles also mentioned the backdrop to all this, her personal life, the divorce.
Right, that's a big piece of the context.
Yeah.
She separated from Jax Taylor in February 2024, filed for divorce later that year.
That adds a whole other layer of difficulty, surely. Balancing Cruz's needs with her own self-care during a divorce.
And she was honest about that. That's been tough, that putting herself first has been, a struggle.
But Cruz is her focus.
Absolutely. She said he's her priority, the reason she stays strong. But she also mentioned wanting to focus more on her own health this year in 2025.
Which is important. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. Taking care of the caregiver is vital.
Did the articles mention where she's finding hope or inspiration? I think there was something about a TV show.
Yes. The Netflix show Love on the Spectrum.
Ah, okay. How did that influence her?
She found it really heartwarming, and seeing the people on the show living fulfilling lives gave her a lot of hope for Cruz's future happiness, like the possibility of him finding love someday.
That's lovely. Drawing hope from positive representation.
It seems like it, yeah.
Now, what about the timing of this announcement? Going public right before his birthday and the new season of her show.
Yeah, the timing is quite specific. Cruz turns 4 on April 12th, and The Valley Season 2 premieres April 15th.
So it seems likely connected, sharing her story as the show airs.
It does suggest a connection, perhaps wanting to control the narrative or share this part of their lives as it unfolds on screen, maybe raise awareness.
Okay, let's just quickly recap the key facts to make sure we've got them straight.
Good idea.
So it's Cruz Taylor Cartwright, diagnosed with autism around age 2.5 back in fall 2024.
Correct. And he's turning 4 very soon, April 12th, 2025.
Main challenge currently is communication. He's mostly nonverbal.
And Brittany's co-parenting with Jax, plus they have support from a nanny.
Got it. And those quotes really stick with you.
They do. Let's maybe revisit a couple of the most impactful ones.
Okay. The first one. Our life is going to look a little bit different, but I feel like I was meant to be his mom.
So much love and purpose in that. And then the one, challenging limitations.
Right. What I really want people to understand about autism is he sees the world so much more vibrant and amazing than any of us ever will. There aren't any limitations to what he can do.
Just incredibly powerful. Rejecting any notion that autism is purely a deficit.
And finally, that poignant one about love and communication.
It can be difficult because I've never heard him say, I love you, but he is so loving and he shows me he loves me every single day.
Which just highlights, love isn't only spoken words.
Exactly. It's shown in countless ways.
Yeah.
These quotes really capture her journey, the love, the optimism, the advocacy.
So wrapping up this deep dive, what are the main things we should take away from Brittany sharing this?
Well, first, I think her openness is huge. It helps fight stigma around autism, offers connection for other families.
Definitely. And the focus on early action.
Yes, underscores how vital early intervention is. Getting that support in place makes a difference.
Her attitude, too, that unwavering love and positive outlook.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially doing it all amidst her own personal challenges is quite inspiring.
And it reminds us that development isn't one size fits all.
Right. Celebrating neurodiversity, different ways of communicating and experiencing the world.
So for everyone listening, we hope digging into these articles you shared gave you a really clear, concise picture of this situation.
Yeah, covering the timeline, the signs, the supports, and Brittany's own words.
And maybe leaves you with something to think about.
Exactly. Like, how do these personal stories shape the bigger conversations we have about neurodiversity, about inclusion?
And what does it mean to truly support early intervention? How do we recognize all the different ways people connect and show love?
Food for thought, definitely. How these individual narratives kind of challenge us and maybe enrich our own understanding.